how would one go about even building an employee referral program as a founder of an early stage startup?
So I will tell you how not to do it because this is usually where people start.
All right.
I think what a lot of people do is they just, they look at what big tech companies are doing, and they see that, Google or Facebook or whoever offers like whatever thousand, $5,000 if someone working at that company refers someone who ends up joining. And so people think they can just, you know, set up a program like that and say, maybe they pay less than the FANGs for referrals, whatever, add some money, tell their team, and then, now they have a referral program. And that just doesn't work. I think there's a lot more you have to do to get the referral pump flowing, so to speak. One obvious one, which is kind of like still worth saying, is that if your company is not a great place to work, if the people who work there are not like excited about their work and proud of it, then no matter what you do, they're just not going to tell people to join. And so it sounds obvious, but like it's just so important because at the end of the day, like if I refer someone to my company, I'm kind of on the line, right? And so if I'm not happy at my job, why would I refer anyone, even if there's a little bit of money in it? In fact, like the money might even make it worse. So that's kind of a second lesson I've seen sometimes is people, and this might go back to like behavioral theory, but a lot of times people will refer their friends or former colleagues, classmates organically, right? Again, because it's a win-win-win. And then you put money on it, and that like crowds out the intrinsic motivation. So people are now like, well, I want to refer my friend, but I don't want to look like I'm doing it for the money because that's not really why I'm doing it. And I don't want to like bombard my like manager or the hiring manager. And so I'm just not going to refer people. And so that money aspect can sometimes be detrimental, and using it as kind of a signal that, this is something we value and we encourage is great, but just making the entire thing about the money can actually be detrimental. Like I've seen companies where the referral flow has decreased as soon as they put a reward, and they made that like that policy official. A few other things that I found help a ton. One is adding some structure around it. So you think about there's usually a lot of stuff going around in like people's brains, and like so remembering the like really talented person you were in college with, who's in your class, or you worked with at your last job, that person may not be top of mind. You may not have talked to them recently. And so putting some structure, like what a lot of companies will do to put structure around it could be, when someone joins, like a month after they join, there's a meeting with, either a founder or co-founder if the company's small, or a recruiter if they're a little further along. And that meeting is purely to like generate referrals, right? And some people are not that you have to do this, some people are very structured about it. They'll like go through the person's history, be like, okay, at college, like in your algo class, in your algorithms class, who is like the person that like you looked up to the most, or at your last job, who is like, the best salesperson. And those really targeted prompts help people generate that like recall in their memory that they otherwise may not like, if you're just passive about it, they may not remember. And then the last piece, I guess, just giving really good, like running a really good recruiting process. And that includes both for the person being referred and the referrer. So I always encourage people to give updates to the referrer on how the candidate is doing. Like, hey, Vanessa, I just talked to Max and he was awesome. Thanks so much for referring him. Just so you know, the next step is like, we're going to do a coding interview or something like that. And so that gives feedback to people on the team, because the referrals aren't just like getting, dropped into the abyss. They're like, they can see, they have visibility. And in fact, they might even, like if you get to offer stage, they're engaged enough, they'll like help, sell the candidate. And same thing for the candidate themselves. Like if I refer someone and then they have a bad recruiting experience, like, the company ghosts them or something, I'm just not going to refer people again, because then it like makes me look bad. So having, great sort of process or service for both the person being referred and the person doing the refer can, over the long run helps a ton as well.
And what would you recommend founders include in this kind of structured employee referral program policy, just overall kind of evergreen in that sense?
Yeah, I think a like financial reward is great. If used accordingly, then like not being, the focus of the program. Regular updates to the person who referred the candidate. And then call outs if someone is hired through this program, right? At like the company all hands of like, hey, we just, we hired Max and it was Vanessa who referred him. Thanks, Vanessa, for doing that. Kind of helps close the loop and like bring it home and then, prompt other people to engage with the program as well.